Arts. So as I explained, don't think that it's just a ritual for somebody to say this and then you just sit quiet. What you do is that, as I explained, we're learning the points. Say whatever is being said, it's a part of the teaching to be happening the next 1 week. So for that matter, and just make the point that whatever is being said, you try to register them because they play a very important role in ways to, as a continuation for the teachings to be done, 3 sessions a day. Okay, sit upright. And 3 points to keep in mind. One is refuge field. Number 2, Bodhicitta field. Number 3, the purpose of this practice. And for the refuge field, visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us. And how you visualize them makes the whole difference. That they are so loving, caring, and embracing to you and to all the dear sentient beings. In Bodhicitta field, visualize your 2 grandparents on your 2 sides and all your family members, including children, and all the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, spirits, here in Thosamling, in Dharamsala, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. And imagine that you are like the mother, and all others are like children, where you are so loving, caring, embracing to each one of them, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. And the purpose of this practice is to identify, is to discover your true nature, your ultimate true nature within you, like the treasure. Imagine gold mixed with the mud. Although the nature of the gold is to glow, but with the mud, the gold is not visible at all. It doesn't mean that the gold is not there. In the eyes of ordinary people like us, it may appear so like the gold is not there. We may dump this whole thing, but the gold experts will see. They will not throw this away. They will see a gold there. How do we know that? They will do something to get rid of the mud. As the mud is removed more and more, the gold inside will start to glow. You don't have to bring the gold from outside. It's already there. So likewise, each one of us, no matter how poor you feel, how weak you feel, each one of us, we have this treasure. From that point of view, there's no one who is inferior. There's no one who is superior. Each one of us, that in terms of the true nature of our mind, the treasure, ultimate treasure of happiness, the treasure, the fearlessness. From that point of view, you and the Buddha, there's no difference. We're all the same. Only thing is that those people who know about this and do something to get rid of these mental defilements, to retrieve this incredibly precious treasure, the most the precious treasure in this world, in this universe, Those people who prefer to retrieve this, they are known as the noble beings. And those people who are totally ignorant of that and looking for treasures outside, happiness outside, these are the childlike beings. This is distinction between noble beings and ordinary beings. So the purpose is to unravel this treasure within us by removing mental dirts. The next question is how to get rid of mental dirts. For this, we need to know the nature of the mental dirts. Without knowing this, without knowing the nature of mental dirts, again, all our efforts can go in vain. And the mental dirts, there are two kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross one referred to as the afflictive obscurations, which we're going to learn later more about it. And the subtle one known as the cognitive obscurations. And the gross one, both the gross and the subtle revolve around the ignorance and the subtle stains. And to get rid of ignorance, we need to resort to the wisdom of emptiness. So, all our effort must be to enrich, enhance, in the first place, to cultivate this wisdom of emptiness. And this wisdom must be complemented or driven by a very powerful force, the force of Bodhicitta, the mind, the most beautiful mind in this world, the compassionate mind to become Buddha, to benefit all the dear sentient beings. And this Bodhicitta, in order to cultivate, to reach to that level of cultivation of Bodhicitta, it must be supported by renunciation, a desire to renounce all our afflictive obscurations. So that being the whole purpose, and the whole purpose to get rid of mental defilements by resorting to the remedies, wisdom of emptiness, the bodhicitta, and the renunciation. All three must be supported by a very powerful single-pointed meditation, shamatha meditation. So with this motivation to cultivate these four agents within us, let's turn to page 3 of the book. I hope you all have this book. The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas. Okay. And as we read this, let us make a point that we read it in such a way that words are uttered and the meanings are reflected. This is so important. And those of us who do some form of meditation, the experiences are invoked. 3 things, if possible, if not 2. Words uttered, meanings reflected, and the experiences invoked. But of course, if we are first time into this practice, we can't expect the experience. It'll take at least some years to invoke this experience. At least we must try to be mindful that the meanings are very well reflected upon as you read these. Okay. And some can be a little technical, and in the due course of time, I would explain these words, which are more, not the words, the verses which require explanation. Otherwise, they are more self-explanatory. Okay. And teach by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha with Dharma, I pay homage. And teach with great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha with Dharma, I pay homage. And teach with great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha with Dharma, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye joda zoge jonam na janjo bardo dane gyaksu Nage Jinso Gebe Sonamge Dola Benjir Sanje Rubarai Sho Sanje Joda Zoge Chonam Chanjo Bardo Dame Yazu Chi Nage Jinso Gebe Sonamge Dola Benjir Sanje Rubarai Sho Sanye joda soge chonam la chanju bardo dame gyabsu che bage jin soge be sonam gi tola benjir sanye dubare shom. And some of the verses are extremely important, and yet the beginners may not be able to understand what they mean. But over time, in due course of time, during this class, we have to explain all these. The explanation must be done. For example, the verse which we're going to read now is extremely succinct and very profound. And if you know the meaning, it gives such a healing factor, healing within us and hope within us that finally, okay, now I see the purpose of my life on the basis of this verse written by Nagarjuna. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no rising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the Supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification, complete peace, who through the knowledge of past goals, those help memories achieves aims in the world, and who through the possession of omniscience self-subdue has expanded variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector to your administrations. The one who has eliminated web of conceptualizations and is out with divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines for the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make illustrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I gendered the mind full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham datagato hayavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham jayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite, such as the natural Dharma I've discovered, finding no one who can fathom this teaching in silence and determined words. Beyond our trends, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom, to you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times of the obeisance. The four seals of Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent Lord is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. He is by teaching the truth of the suchness the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, page 14, praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. As we read this, what is expected is that of course, the Buddha's qualities are being indicated here. And see if you have some of these qualities within you. If you do have, you're very fortunate. Our job is to nurture them further. But if we don't have these qualities, we all, no doubt, we all have the seeds of these so precious qualities. If you don't, if the qualities indicated there do not resonate with yours, what you have, then knowing that these are the qualities through which the Prince Siddhartha became Buddha. So we should also be inspired to cultivate these qualities, and once cultivated, see how to nurture them further. Okay. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata. Know the word, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completed and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced your 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supreme and pure, wisdom ocean like golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, the winner of the best, Lord to you I prostrate. Okay, just the first verse. First verse which said, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth. The Buddha, the moment he was born, unlike the small children like us, when we are born, we only know how to cry. Whereas the Buddha born, he made this proclamation that in the Sanskrit word, the Tibetan wording has a connotation that I'm here to save you, I'm here to heal you. This is a connotation, but in English there's no choice other than to translate like as then said I'm supreme in the world. It simply means that I'm here to heal, to wake up the beings. So this connotation, the moment he was born, these are the words that he uttered. How many uttered like this? How many you born crying? We were all born crying. So Buddha did very differently. So this is how we have to see things. Always with the translation, the word, the power of the word may say sometimes a little loose. Okay, let's read this again. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and then said, I'm supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Prostrate like you, the 3 worlds are not, incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, field of merit with qualities like vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtues that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, who if qualified with realization, or devoted to do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue the mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, such conditioned things as such. Through this merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all saying, subdue the four faults and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, Heart Sutra, page 29, Heart Sutra. As we recite Heart Sutra, there are 3 points to keep in mind. Of course, the first, the background is there. And the Buddha Prasad, but how many of you been to Rajgir? Raise hands. Vulture's Peak. Okay. That is the place where the whole Heart Sutra episode happened there. And Buddha presided over the congregations attended to by the monks, bodhisattvas, the nuns, and the lay devotees, and so forth. And then the Buddha Shakyamuni absorbed into meditation. Then on the one hand, Aravalokteshvara was there, the Bodhisattva compassion was there. On the other side was the Shariputra, the one who is revered as one with the greatest intelligence among the students of Buddha Shakyamuni. And while the Buddha was absorbed in meditative concentration, then the Aravalokteshvara, he was also absorbed into contemplation on emptiness, what constitutes the ultimate reality. And Shariputra, because that when you become a Buddha, anyone and becomes a Buddha, what happens is that you get access to the two truths simultaneously, the ultimate truth as well as the conventional truth. Ultimate truth meaning the truth of the emptiness of all the phenomena, plus the conventional world, to get access to both simultaneously. So the Buddha, superficially, in the eyes of ordinary beings, we see that he's gone into deep samadhi, meditative concentration, into emptiness. Then simultaneously, because the being a Buddha has access to the two truths simultaneously, so he inspired and blessed Shariputra to stand up to ask questions to the Aravalokteshvara. Then accordingly, Shariputra stood up, made prostration to Buddha, and then turned towards Aravalokteshvara and asked questions. So 3 things not to miss. The first one is, what is the question asked by Shariputra? Number 2, what is the response given by Aravalokteshvara? Number 3, what is the benefit if you practice as indicated, as taught by Aravalokteshvara? The 3 points. First, what is the question asked by Shariputra? Shariputra asks, how should the child of the lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? How should the child of the lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? So here we need to know what is meant by the child of the lineage. And some translators translate as son of the lineage. It is not a good translation. It should be child of the lineage. Tibetan word is pu. Pu does not mean only the males. It can refer to both male and female, because the boy, or the in Tibetan word pu. Pu means the male child, and pu mo means a female child. So it's always better that the translators should have a thorough understanding of the nuances of the language. So if we translate just as like a son, it's not a good translation. This is not the intention of the Shariputra and Aravalokteshvara. So with this mind, it should be better translated as, how should the child of the lineage practice of professional wisdom? And child of lineage, what do you mean by child of lineage? What kind of lineage is this? 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, you all know that those days, even today, a young child of the king is considered as very important. Why? He is being treated as the prince. Why he's considered so important, more important than the most intelligent ministers? Why? Because he is going to become the king eventually. So therefore, he is considered very important. Likewise, to somebody to become a king and to somebody to become a Buddha, which is more important? To become Buddha is more important. And who can do that? So becoming king, the prince can do that. Not all. But who can become Buddha? Everyone can become Buddha. So, from that point of view, even though you may not be holding the lineage of a king, but you're holding the lineage of the Buddhas, provided you commit yourself that I must become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. When you commit yourself to become Buddha, you already become the lineage holder of the Buddhas, best of the lineages. Okay. So once you say for a small child to say that I'm the prince, so for that person doesn't have to make commitment. But to become the lineage holder of the Buddha, you have to make the commitment. I must become Buddha for the benefit of sentient. Only then you become the child of the lineage. Okay. So what should you be doing? As the child of the lineage, what should you be doing? The lineage of the Buddhahood. What should you be doing is to practice the wisdom to remove the mental defilements. To remove the mental defilements so that your Buddha nature inside becomes manifest fully. In other words, for you to become Buddha to benefit all the dear sentient beings. So that's the purpose. So what is that thing? And what should you do to remove the mental dirt to make this Buddha nature come out? Is by resorting to the remedies. What is that remedy? The perfection of wisdom. So it says, how should the child of the lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? What is the perfection of wisdom? The wisdom to see the reality as it is, which is what we're going to learn the next 7 days. Okay, so that is the point number 1, not to miss, was a question asked by Shariputra on our behalf. Then what is number 2? Was the response given by Avalokiteshvara? Response given is that then Avalokiteshvara explained in great detail what constitutes the wisdom of emptiness. Emptiness is being explained in great detail, and starting with the self. That self is the like illusion, like a dream, and the self which is constituted of 5 aggregates. They also each of the aggregates also like dream. Form is empty, emptiness form. Emptiness not the form is also not an emptiness. Likewise, the feeling is empty, emptiness is feeling is not empty, emptiness is not a feeling, and so forth. And then the 12, the 6 objects are empty, the 12, the sources are empty, then the 18 elements are empty, then 4 noble truths are empty, the 12 links of dependent origination are empty. So how they are all like dream. So when do you come to know that all are like dream? When you wake up. So we have to wake up. It is for this reason that the Buddha Shakyamuni is revered as the fully awakened one. So we have to also wake up to become Buddha, to make your Buddha nature inside to manifest fully. So that is the response given by Avalokiteshvara, how everything is like illusion, like dream, that you should not have the fear, that you should not have that your happiness can be as expansive to embrace all the dear sentient beings with unconditional love, and to have no fear waking up from the sleep, waking up from the dream, then none of the contents of the dream can affect you. Whereas in the dream, you're affected by dream. That is the fear. You wake up, all your fears dissolve for the reason that you discover that whatever you have seen in the dream, they're all just your mental construct, nothing really there from the object. Okay, so don't worry too much about this. I'm just going through everything within a short span of time to explain what these 3 points are. Otherwise, the main discussions are to be for the main classes. Okay, so number 3. Was it the point number 3 not miss? What's the benefit? The benefit if we follow the instructions as indicated by the Avalokiteshvara, how to see everything like a dream. What's the benefit? The benefit is that you wake up. You wake up and all the fears of the dream will stop haunting you. You'll be liberated. And it says that this experience of the wisdom of emptiness is the only gateway through which all the Buddhas of the past present, future, the thread to reach to the aspired goal. So likewise, if we want to experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness, to embrace all other dimensions equally, then this is only gateway, the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, so this benefit. And let us recite together. The Heart of Sutra, the Professional Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the irretrievable gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on the massive Vulture's mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was involved in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also, at that practice of the profound illumination of wisdom, and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then to the body of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound professional wisdom train? He said that in the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound professional wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is also no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unseen, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object to touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, rely on dwell in the professional wisdom, the mind without obscuration, and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond era, they understand holy nirvana. All the Buddhists who dwell in the profession manifestly completely awakened, unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the professional wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the professional wisdom, the mantra of the great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra that equal to the unequaled, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the profession of wisdom is declared: Yatha Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Soha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in profound professional wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice a profound professional wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoiced. The Buddha, having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Let's chant this 7 times together. As we chant this, just imagine that we are all there on the Vulture's Peak, where the Buddha is exhorting us thus: don't remain in the fears of samsara, don't remain in the fears of the sadness, fear, anxiety, and so forth. Come to the ultimate state of happiness. And you are hearing this melodious voice, Buddha Shakyamuni. You declare this to your parents, your children, and all the other sentient beings, informing them that, look, this is what a compassionate teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, is telling us. Let us not stay in samsara anymore. Let us not stay in the pains, anxiety, anguish of life anymore. Let us all go to this ultimate happiness by discovering your true nature within. So everyone hearing what you are saying, they are so inspired, and they join you in this recitation to remind ourselves it should be a journey of cleansing your mind so the true nature of the ultimate total fearlessness and infinite happiness is what we experience. And even your parents practice. Even if you are the near dear ones, they already left the world, but you can still remember them. You can still visualize them joining us in this practice. Deyata Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasamgade Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate 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 Bodhiswaha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dhamma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dhamma, may all the enjoyments be in accord with the Dhamma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. And some of you may be wondering, why this clapping? Right? Why is this clapping? So some of you may, how many of you wanted this? Who is that? Okay, why clapping? Okay, this is what it. This is again a very important point which you want to learn over the next the few days. And that okay, what is this? Anyone? Huh? Victory, peace, right? Which means three fingers is more peace. Why not? Why not? Anyone? Why? Why not? Three fingers, more peace. Four means more victory. Why? Anyone? Why? It's just a convention. You're getting it? So this is the meaning of convention. There's no hard and fast rule to say that it means peace. It's just a convention. People, in order to indicate, to tell you that, okay, let's have peace, this gesture. It's just a convention. There's no, if the first person said like this is peace. Everybody does this becomes peace, right? This is peace. This is not peace. This stop, right? Your fingers will not stop anything, but this is convention. Likewise, clapping is convention. So when today we see that somebody does something good, small child does something very, starts say A for apple for the first time, you clap, saying that's a great success. In the olden times, even the conventions can change from one time to the other, from one place to the other. These are all conventions. One point, in Tibet, the convention of clapping is considered very bad. It's a very bad convention. convention indicate to ward off the evil forces. This convention. So this clapping is to ward off the evil forces. And today, if the clapping is good, then you can just change it. The Buddhist teachings, they're extremely they're flexible in that way, saying that even the teachings of the Buddha can be they're flexible depending on the time, depending on the places. As you move from one place to another, even some of the teachings may not be relevant. With changing time, some teachings may not be relevant. There's need to change even the teachings also. This is what the Buddha himself clearly indicating that we should not be too rigid in the conventions. But it doesn't mean that can be too flexible. There's also another point that there are some conventions which can be changed, some conventions which hold true at all times. Say some are short-lived, some live eternal long. So various conventions are there. Okay, good. Now let us turn to page 35. If it's the same edition, 35, 8 verses for training the mind. For those of us who are already aware of this short text, it's just 8 verses. For you, it's fine. For others, you may get a feeling, if the warning is not given, you may get a feeling that it's very self-denial teachings. Say you take the loss, give victory towards others, and the people who are being so nasty towards you, you see them as, you revere them, and so forth. So this is not as an indication of self-denial. So let us keep in mind that finally, over the next few days, we're going to learn how okay, by the way, how many like to have happiness results? How many like to have happiness? Okay. And how many would like to have, what degree of happiness do you want? 10% or 80% or 100%? If possible, 100%. If possible, 100%. Is it possible? This is the next question. So, answer yes. Happiness is a state of your mind. When a mind, depending on how you reach out to others, how much you embrace others with love and affection, that determines what degree of happiness you experience. If you learn the art of embracing all other sentient beings equally, leaving them aside with unconditional love, your happiness invariably becomes infinite. So this is the secret of the happiness. So with this mind, while we seek the infinite happiness, and the secret lies in the fact that we have to embrace all other beings with total love and affection. What's the opposite of embracing others with love and affection? Hey, what's the opposite of embracing others with love and affection? What's the opposite of that? Anger, jealousy, ego. You're getting it? So these forces like ego, anger, jealousy, and belligerence, spite, these push others away from you. Whereas the feeling of affection, compassion, they embrace others. So you practice embrace others, and then you succeed to some extent, and then one moment of anger will instantly push others away from you. The force that you've cultivated to embrace others again is nullified by the anger, one moment of anger. So therefore, what is being taught here is how to remedy our anger, how to remedy our ego, how to remedy our jealousy, and so forth. And what are the situations which can trigger anger within us? What are the situations which can trigger ego within us? What are the situations which can trigger the jealousy, belligerence, and so forth within us? So these situations are created, and then see how to counteract the respective emotions, the destructive emotions, by cultivating humility, by cultivating, by cultivating a sense of the modesty, humility, compassion, and reverence, gratitude towards others, and so forth. Okay. So here, it is not to mitigate the power of self-confidence. So, reading this, we should be able to see two things. One is self-confidence, and the other one is the ego. So, how do we demarcate between two people, the noble beings and the ordinary beings? Ordinary beings are those people where your self-confidence goes up, ego also goes up. That is the ordinary being. Where the noble beings, where self-confidence goes up, your ego remains low. Beings. For ordinary people, when you say that, oh, he's extremely gentle, he's extremely kind, we need a new director, so we can appoint him, we can appoint her. No, he doesn't have the confidence. So, gentle means, in a way, it's another way of saying that that person doesn't have self-confidence, right? In eyes of the ears of the ordinary people. So when it says, oh, he's very confident, right? Then we can make him the director. No, he's very egoistic, right? So when the confidence builds up, ego tends to build up. When you remove your ego, your self-confidence also disappears. One of my friends who attended my class at one point he attended my class so many times, and he said, Geshe, what happened to me? Attending your class, now I become so weak. Right. So usually I can easily fight with somebody so easily. Now I become so weak, I don't dare to fight. Okay, so this is where your ego goes down and your self-confidence also goes down. This should not happen. Your ego must be subdued, but the self-confidence should not be subdued. But for example, what do you write? May I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. To become Buddha is not easy. This is the most challenging work, and you take this courage to take the responsibility. Unless you have this sense of self-confidence, you cannot take the responsibility to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So therefore, here, reading these 8 verses, for training the mind, we should make sure that these two things are kept in mind, and my job is to mitigate the power of this ego and boost my self-confidence. That is so important. And some of us, we may feel a little shy, not self-confident, not confident enough to come out in public and so forth. Don't worry, we are all dependently originated. We're all dependently originated. For some of us, so we may be more introvert. We don't dare to speak out too much, go out. So there, I'll say this also dependently originated. Even this can be changed. For example, just imagine, I say a worn-out stupa, and another stupa, which is a golden stupa. And let's say each one of us will resemble the worn-out stupa. And looking at the golden stupa, you feel envious. Wow, that's amazing. But the one is a worn-out stupa, other one is golden stupa. So if you want your stupa to be golden stupa, first thing that we need to know is that your stupa is also dependently originated. Your worn-out stupa is also dependently originated. Dependent on these 1,000 bricks, these 1,000 worn-out bricks. So if you don't want the worn-out stupa, remove one worn-out brick, replace it with the golden brick. Next time again, remove another worn-out brick, replace it with the golden brick. Over time, your stupa will start to glow. This is how we change our personality. If somebody can be a little selfish, somebody can be short-tempered, even that is also dependent originated. By knowing the factors dependent on which the personality, to be short-tempered or angry or say the selfish, and so No need to feel shy over these things. The only thing is that we have to discover that these are your traits, and this also they also dependent originated. And if we change the factors depending on which the bad traits came into existence, automatically bad traits will disappear. Okay, so how to do that? Once the bad traits disappear, good traits automatically leaves room for the good traits to will come within you. Okay, so with that in mind, let us recite the verses together. 8 verses for training the mind by Geshe Thamba. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, and those who are oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear for their undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I recognize in all things the solutions to votive clinging, be released from bondage. And the next verse is added deliberately to boost our self-confidence. From our two collections, vast the space that I've amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the shield-leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom eyes blinded by ignorance. Okay, 7 practice, the next page. 7 practice, as we discussed yesterday, that this is a journey for say the airplane to fly from a short distance flight. The airplane may not carry much of the fuel, but if it's long distance, for like 16 hours flight, it should take with it enough fuel. So likewise, this journey of enlightenment is more than 16 hours. It requires a lot of fuel. What is that? Mental fuel. That is the merit accumulation. And the Buddhism reflected as to how best to accumulate such enormous amount of merit within a short span of time. The Buddha indicated the 7 aspects of the practices. The prostrations, being offerings, then the confessing negativities, rejoicing in the virtues of others, and then the what? Then making the request to Bodhisattvas to continue to teach, making the request to Bodhisattvas to abide with us and to dedicate the merits towards a greater purpose of Buddhahood or for the flourishing of the Buddha Dharma. Okay, so these verses, they are self-explanatory, and the only thing is that be mindful that the meanings are reflected in the mind. And we see that some people do lots of recitation, readings, and the meanings are not reflected. And they spend like 3 hours a day in reading the holy scripts and not reflecting on the meanings at all. And they read 3 hours a day into 360 times a year into like 30 years. But since the meanings are not reflected, at the end of the 30 years completion, you see that you are just the same person. There's no transformation in your mind at all. So, therefore, reflect the meanings, and then later on, after learning how to practice these, we have to actually practice them to invoke the experiences. 3 things should happen: reading the words, reflecting on the meanings, and experiences involved. 3 things. Only then, within a span of like 5 years, 10 years, no doubt in 15, 20 years, you'll see transformation within your mind. Where once you may be a very short-tempered person, your anger subsides, you become extremely matured person, very calm person. somebody who is not so kind person, after like 20 years of practice, you can see that your mind actually expands, your compassion expands in a very different way from how we describe somebody as gifted with compassion. And even the compassion is very different, qualitatively different. So where you could feel that your heart goes out to even the difficult people. So this is the benefit of practice. So for that we need the three things: study, reflection, and meditation. Okay. The seven-limb practice, excerpt from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary inspiration of the practice of Samadhi. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the world of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy or aspiration and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to you, Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom of the Buddhas, numberless as particles. Each of me is a host of bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with the Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspect of my voice, I sing the beautiful, breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugathas. Beautiful flowers and regal gardens, sweet music and scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you victorious ones of Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, with sandalwood powder heaped high with Mount Meru, all wondrous offering in spectacular array, offered to you victorious ones. Where transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, where profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all the victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all this I openly lay bare before you. I lift my heart, rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond that follow in their beings. You who are the bright lights of the world in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stage of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for aeons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wondrous in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated, making prostrations, offering and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stayed and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, material offering. Material offering is another way of accumulating merit and to clear the obstacles. This ground adorned with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. Imagine this is the Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. The Tibetan. O Sajibeke Chojimen Dotan Rara Ne Shenyen Den Gyamba Sangye Shendo Midamboye Trogunanda Shela Chubarai Sho. After make offering of the mantra, then we make the requests. There are two sets of requests there. The first one, the four dharmas of the Venerable Kambapa, the one who is like the who was the direct disciple of Jismilarapa. How many heard about Jismilarapa recents? Yes, You must read his biography. It's very inspiring. And his direct disciple, Chizuka, it is Chizuka from whom there all the divisions of the Kagyu tradition came into existence. So these four teachings are extremely powerful teachings for us. And again, it's not like you recite this, then you get blessings. The real blessing is when some transformation, when awakening, when realizations come to your mind that, okay, my mind should be directed towards the Dharma, that the Dharma practice should be on the proper path. It should not meet with obstacles, and the path must be seen in in the proper. It must go into the proper track without flaws. And then even if I encounter with the flaws be seen in the form of exalted wisdom. So the fourth one is very sophisticated. This will come to us only when your experience of emptiness becomes very refined. But the first three, we can understand them. We can also see that, check on our mind to see that our mind is going in the proper direction. And the next four set, the set of the four are the teachings come from my teacher, Venerable Genam Rinpoche, who passed away, I think, in 2003, and who was a lifelong hermit, and his teachings, and then some of the very sophisticated the way of articulations by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I also include them here. A total, again, becoming a very comprehensive path for us to practice, to follow, to use that as the checklist for us, whether I'm on the proper path, what I'm doing is proper, all are indicated here. Okay. The four Dhammas of Venerable Kambapa. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming utterly frustrated with ignorance that grasp at the true existence, please bless me with genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious Bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalagam Nirate Amen. Okay, next page. Foundation of all good qualities. And this is the roadmap. The foundation of all good qualities again it has 14 verses, and this foundation of good qualities is the roadmap to your path to enlightenment, which means where we are now, very basic, ordinary being. From there to the Buddhahood, what's the road like? Is indicated here. The foundation of all good qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is to fulfill again. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous come and follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all this. Such splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to gender a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great cushion arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I've fallen into sea of samsara, so fall my migratory beings. Please bless me to see this training Supreme Bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing my greater beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta but I don't practice the three types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice this Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to remove objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate clearly within my mind stream the unified path of karma expression inside. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishment to attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pleasure of my life. Importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never give up the 4 sessions. Please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and especially friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to practice it completely, while out any inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separate from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stations of the paths, may I could attain the state of Vajradhara. Okay, next is the maximum mantra recitation. We'll first say this in English, followed by the Tibetan. We chant the Tibetan version. Just for information, that this is the verse of the praise to Lama Tsongkhapa. Initially, it was written by Lama Tsongkhapa himself to his own teacher, not to himself, to his teacher, the Jesuit Rendao Shinulutu. And the Jesuit Rebbe Shinulutu, the red what was written there, and he erased his own name, Lama Tsongkhapa's own teacher. So this is about the 14th century AD, about how many years now? 700 years ago. So Jesuit Rendao Shinulutu, the teacher, he erased his own name and replaced it with his student's name, Lama Tsongkhapa's name, saying that this praise is more suitable with you, not so much with me. So when the teacher was given the metaphor of the three the embodiments of the Buddha, the perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect wisdom, the perfect power. Perfect knowledge, the Avalokiteshvara, embodied by Avalokiteshvara, saying that your compassion is so vast, like that of the Avalokiteshvara, and your wisdom is extremely profound, like that of the Manjushri, and your power is so powerful, like that of the Vajrapani. So he was like equated to these 3 enlightened qualities of the Buddha. And the Rendaba Shunlodru, he then said that this praise fits better with you rather than me. And then it was given back to Lama Tsongkhapa, and it became so widely chanted, said in all over Tibet. So we'll say this first in English, followed by Tibetan. When they sing this in Tibetan, we skip the third line. It's not for any other reason, just to accommodate the melody. But when you recite it just without the chant, we recite all the 5 lines, but when we chant, we skip the third line just to accommodate the melody. That's it. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of the flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroying hordes of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Lobsang by your feet and make prostrations. Sorry. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, marshal of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroy hosts of demons without exception, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the stage of the land of snows, Lobsang Torah, ideal feet and make prostrations. Okay, next is the actual practice, generating the mind of consuming yoga, since that we don't have much time. Tomorrow also, I'm not too sure if we can do this. Then from the third day, I'm expecting that the complete practice can be done. So as for now, we have 7 minutes left now. So what we do is that we'll do a little bit of breathing meditation. And it is, do we have the singing ball? The ball, singing ball. Do we have? Singing ball. Okay. Okay. For single-pointed meditation. So basically, meditation, you may be wondering. Some of you may not even have asked this question: what is meditation? Or what is meditation? Anyone? What is meditation? Huh? Familiarization in non-virtues. Familiarization in virtues. Very good. So articulation is required. So in the course of this 7-day program, let's try to also learn how to articulate. What is in your mind. So your name? Chunzum. Venerable Chunzum, when she said familiarization, no doubt she meant familiarization with virtues, but articulation is required. So all the words, with the economy words, meaning should be conveyed. Sometimes it becomes so verbose, and the meaning is not conveyed. Sometimes the words, there's economy words, but the meaning is also compromised. So we make sure that the words are used where the meanings are conveyed. At the same time, articulation is there with the economy words. Okay. Meditation is the familiarization of your virtues, or familiarizing your virtues. So for this, why do we need to familiarize in your virtues? Is to bring about transformation, where your mind, where it is now. From this, we have to bring it to the level whereby we experience what we want. And what we want to get away from all the fears of life. We want to embrace the maximum happiness. These two things. And how to accomplish this, to put it very simply, through meditation. But it's not that simple. So the next 7 days, each one of us, let us try best that when you go out of this place to something, that if somebody would ask you, let's say, what is meditation? You should have a very good picture. So what is meditation? It's not just sitting. This is not meditation. Meditation is the active state of transforming your mind from a very unhappy state to the happy state. The state of fear to the fearlessness. State of no joy to the infinite happiness. And state of being selfish to the other cherishing personality. So this is what is the meaning of the meditation. So with this in mind, for this, the transformation of your mind, to bring about transformation of your mind, it requires two things. Just imagine a light. Say that a mind at the moment is like enveloped with the darkness. How to get rid of the darkness? By introducing the light. You agree? And when you introduce light, this light should have two qualities. One, it should be extremely bright. If it's not bright, then it doesn't serve the purpose for you to read the books. It should be very bright. And not only that it's bright, even though it's very bright, let's say you light a candle here, it's very bright, but from the corner of your room there is the wind blowing, and the light is very flickery. Again, it doesn't serve the purpose for you to read the books. So the light should be steady, firm and steady. So light should be bright and it should be very steady. What's the brightness? Brightness is the intelligence, the sharpness of intelligence. Your wisdom should be so sharp and intelligent. And that it should be also very steady and firm. So these two should be trained separately. Initially, the two should be trained separately. Later on, when you become advanced in meditation, the practice, then the two things can go together. So for to build the sharpness of your intelligence or the wisdom, we require analytical meditation. And for the stability, the steadiness of the mind, we require the single point of meditation. So what we do now is a single point of meditation, and then the emptiness studies, Bodhicitta studies, they're all analytical meditation. Okay, so with this, for the single point of meditation, 4 points to keep in mind. 4 points to keep in mind. And, okay, the first 4 points. Number 1 is the body posture. Number 2 is the focal point. Focal point, what are you going to meditate on? Number 2. Number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. Number 3, identifying the errors of meditation. Number 4, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. 4 points. Let me repeat it. 1 is body posture. Number 2, focal point. Number 3, identifying the errors of meditation. Number 4, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. 4 points. The first, body posture. Body posture that we're going to adopt is known as the Buddha Vajrayana's body posture. Buddha Vajrayana's body posture. Number 9 in Tibet. Okay, one is the cross-legged position. Say your left foot should be on your right leg. Left foot on your right leg, and then the right foot on your left leg. Okay. If you can do it, try. And if you have never done it before, it may be a little painful initially. As it starts to pain, you release it, and once pain is gone, again bring it back. This is how we practice.
Is the right foot always on top, or sometimes is it done in the other way?
Okay. The left foot on your right leg, right foot on your left leg. Right? Okay. Then the next one is, this is not mandatory though. If you can, particularly if you think of long-term meditation, you're a long-term meditator, then this position is extremely important. This will keep your mind fresh and alert for a longer duration of time. Whereas if you have knee problem, if you have backache problem, this is not necessary. So make sure that you take care of your health. This is so important to take care of your, say, the whatever illnesses. Make sure that they don't deteriorate because of forcing yourself to do the cross-leg position and so forth. Number 2 is the backbone upright. Back upright, that is so important. And if possible, try to make this a habit to sit upright with body position. Whereas if you have backache problem, again, you exempted. Otherwise, sit upright. And you can be on the chair is fine. Even if you're on a chair, but make sure that you don't lean against the support. Keep it freely upright. This is so important for a good meditation. Whereas if you do have backache problem, and in which case, then even if you lean against the support, it's fine. But those who do not have the backache problem, you still lean against the support, you are compromising the quality of your meditation. So those with backache problem, if you lean against the support, it does not compromise your meditation. That's very strange. So those who are healthy, if you lean against, that's purely laziness. So what happens is that as your body leans against a support, the body loses the rigor, particularly for healthy people. For not healthy, your body rests, but your mind can still be very fresh and alert. Okay. When the body relaxes, what happens is that the flow of the energy, the channel is not going to be vibrant. Without the channel vibrant, the flow of the energy inside will not be smooth. And if the flow of the energy is not smooth, the flow of the energy determines the state of your mind, whether your mind is fresh or not fresh, lethargic or discursive. So that when the energy flows very smoothly, then your mind is very fresh and the alert. Mind and the energy, these two are very closely connected. Okay. And your head tilted forward a little bit. And the next point is so important, your eyes not closed. And oftentimes some teachers, they tell you, close your eyes. Okay. In fact, I'm not going to comment on what other teachers they told you. I'm not going to comment on this, but eyes must be open. And if you keep your eyes closed, it's very dangerous for the beginners. Whereas if you are someone who is an expert meditator, then there are times where you have to do meditation with the eyes closed, with total darkness. These very special meditations are there. But for beginners, it's very dangerous with eyes with eyes closed. So always keep our eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down, and ignore. That's it. Okay. And the tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in your mouth. And the lips and the teeth, keep them in the natural course. Breathe normally. Breathe normally. Don't force your breath. Don't force your breath. Don't control your breath. Let the breath flow normally. Okay. And your right hand on your left hand, with the tips of two thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place the two hands in your lap in a restful state. Let me say this again. Right hand on your left hand, tips of two thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place the two hands in your lap in a restful state. While your body is upright, body should not be stiff, it should be flexible. Okay, this is your body posture. Then number 2 is focal point. What are you going to meditate on? There are thousands of meditation instructions there. It's not that what we're doing is the correct and what others doing is wrong. All are correct as long as they come from an authentic source. So with this in mind, what we're going to do here is just count the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, again breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2, this is what we're going to do. And if you can, then we go for the multitasking. That is, while counting the breath, we simultaneously focus on a tiny white dot, 1 mm or 2 mm in diameter, tiny white dot between nose and upper lip. Okay, just scratch this without looking at it. Just scratch it. Scratch without looking at it. Do you feel something? Do you feel something? Okay. So this is your eye consciousness not feeling it, your sense consciousness, the body consciousness, or your technically your body consciousness feels that, and your mental consciousness is aware of that. So the meditation is not a meditation of your eyes, it's a meditation of your mental consciousness. You're going to employ your mental consciousness to meditate, not your sense consciousness. You getting it? Okay. So these two things should happen together. Try your best for the next 1 week, counting the breath simultaneously, visualizing a tiny white dot between nose and the upper lip. These two things should happen together. And after 1 week, if you cannot manage both, then you go for one of the two and leave the other side. Okay, so this is your focal point. Then what is number 3? Identifying the errors of meditation. Errors of meditation, twofold. One is mental laxity, another one is mental excitement. Mental laxity is the inactivity of your mind. Inactivity of your mind. And mental excitement is the overactivity of your mind. So these are the two errors. And if you really go to practice more seriously, then you can see many nuances of these two aspects. For that, we need to go for number 4. What's number 4? Applying the remedies to overcome the errors. So remedies, there are 2: introspection and mindfulness. And introspection is like vigilance, keeping an eye on your mind to see if your mind is meditating, or it is already sleepy, or it is distracted. And should you see that your mind is distracted or in a lax state, by applying the vigilance or introspection, then you go for the mindfulness. Once you see that your pet dog is lost, you first go in search of the pet dog. That is introspection. Once you see the pet dog somewhere else, then the job of the introspection is done. Next, the job of the rope. Rope is like the mindfulness, like the rope. Tie the dog with the rope, bring it back home, and tie it to the pillar at your house. So likewise, once you see that your mind is distracted or in a sleepy state, then with the rope of the mindfulness, bring the mind back to the intended object of meditation. Are you ready? Let's do just for, let's say, 21 cycles. 21 cycles. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2. This is what we're going to do for 21 times. Ready? Okay, thank you. We now do the tradition prayer. In my book, it is on page 52. It's the same book, but the editions are different. Which page number? 52. Thank you. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization that deeds in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I in all life, through the force of this merit, never separate from the forebears of a Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, Bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From my true collections, last the space that I've amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds is blinded by ignorance. Deata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Okay, 3 processions together.